Hi guys, welcome back. So, after a little bit of a preach and sharing of my drop of anxiety about the channel and what I'm doing on the channel, in short, I think and feel that we are frustrated because we can see what is going wrong. We recognize the evil among us, and yet nothing is done about it. And Harry and Meghan are the poster children for this phenomena. So, in an effort to further dissect Meghan's traits, habits, and personality, I'm back with my Meghan and Friends venture. As predicted, Tom Bowers' book opened a whole can of worms, if you know where to look. Unfortunately and inevitably, there will be collateral damage along the way. People are hurt and will be hurt along the way, and people have been embarrassed and may be embarrassed even more before the Harkle saga comes to an end. Now, I think I discovered why Trevor Ingleson and Corey Vitiello have both been so quiet and reluctant to make any comments about their relationship with Meghan Markle. And it is not only because they have moved on with their lives, but because they are embarrassed and feel like fools, having been duped by this vile, social climbing, crude, narcissistic, heartless woman. I have not listened to or read the second chapter on Tom Bowers' book, the one dealing with Trevor and Meghan's marriage yet. So I have no idea whether he dealt with this matter or not. But for those of you who have not read the book, like me, we know that Meghan mailed her wedding and engagement rings back to Trevor, and that the divorce came rather sudden and out of the blue as far as Trevor was concerned. Well, for the longest time now, I have been in possession of some information and receipts clearly indicating that Mrs. Ingleston the First had at least two flings, to put it mildly, since she set foot on the suit set and before she was divorced from Trevor. And no, neither one was with Patrick J. Adams. Instead, it had been told to me that her first was with a producer or director or someone in the production team. Unfortunately, I received a photograph with no name attached, so I'm not 100% sure who exactly it was with. The second, and I would say more serious affair, which was allegedly an open secret on set, was with fellow actor Rick Hoffman. I was told that the two of them even spend weekends away together. And when I did my own digging, I found that at the very least, that was indeed true, as on one of the social media pages was a photograph of them together in France, where she was Rick's plus one at a wedding. So, without me saying another word, I think it is clear to us all why Meghan decided to divorce Trevor. I know that she tried to accuse her friend Nanaki Pretty and Trevor of having an affair, but that was nipped in the bud very quickly when Nanaki came out publicly and stated that she only reconnected with Trevor after she was informed of the impending divorce, and that it was purely to hear his side of it and to lend support if needed. It is my opinion that Trevor felt a fool once the stories spread about Meghan's infidelity and affairs, and he likely felt used and sad, not something anyone would like to be reminded of daily or publicly. And then there was Corey Vitiello. Meghan and the Suits cast ate at Corey's restaurant in July 2014. And afterwards, Meghan wrote a gushing review on the TIG, calling Corey her favorite chef. Not long after, they rented a three-bedroom home together in Toronto's Annex District. Now, it is absolutely no secret anymore that Meghan and Corey were still living together when she started dating Harry. What their relationship was like behind closed doors at the time, I don't know. But argue as she may, Meghan and Corey were still living together when she started dating Harry, and were still living together when Harry visited Meghan for the first time in Toronto. As a matter of fact, Harry had to stay with a friend because Meghan and Corey were still sharing a home. However, it is possible that at that point, the relationship between Meghan and Corey was already strained or coming to an end because Harry was not the first guy she strayed with. Now, Rory McIlroy met Meghan when he unexpectedly, in inverted commas, nominated her for the Ice Bucket Challenge, and she insisted he come to her friend's apartment in New York to dump the ice on her himself. Now, the encounter happened in August 2014, just a month and a few days after she entered into a hot romance with Corey Vitiello. After Rory and Meghan posted the Ice Bucket Challenge video, which raised funds for motor neuron disease research, they went and enjoyed a drink at the Fitzpatrick Hotel, where Rory was staying. And now enters John Fitzpatrick, OBE, a native Irishman, into the picture. Mr. Fitzpatrick spotted Rory and Meghan and invited them to dinner at Cipriani that night. The following morning, McIlroy arrived at the Ridgewood Country Club 30 miles away, worse for wear after a hectic night, and he played terribly. So much so that he fell back to 101st place in the rankings. But that did not bother him enough to stay close to the golf course to be ready for the next day's game. But instead, he drove all the way back to New York City to see Meghan. At the end of the week, Meghan returned home to Toronto and boyfriend Corey Vitiello. However, despite denying that there was anything between them and assuring Corey that they were just friends, Meghan continued to gush about Rory on her blog, The Tig. At the time, Corey was a man in love, and he believed Meghan when she said her time with Rory was innocent. Later that same year, however, Meghan snagged a speaking engagement at the One Young World Conference in Dublin. Meghan and Corey flew from Toronto to Dublin in a private jet, possibly paid for by Rory. But I have word that it may not have been paid for by Rory, but instead may have been paid for by John Fitzpatrick. On October 17th, 2014, Meghan and Rory had dinner at Fade Street Social, and they were photographed looking very smitten. She was staring at him and looking into his eyes, etc. Corey was indeed mad and confronted Meghan when that photograph appeared in the newspaper, and he asked her whether she was having an affair with Rory. Meghan denied an affair once again, and even went so far as to call the newspaper which published the photograph and demanded a correction. For the next few days, Meghan made sure that she was seen and photographed by one and all clinging to Corey. And my dears, that was the end of Rory McIlroy, and Corey remained her Toronto facilitator for the time being. That is, until she started her manhunt in the United Kingdom. Now imagine for a moment how Corey felt when he discovered the numerous lies Meghan told him, discovered that she used them for introductions to the likes of the Mulroneys, etc. Of course, Corey is now kicking his own butt and realizes that he had been a fool. And of course, he does not want to be reminded of that daily and in public. Anyway, so now we have Harry. Regardless of him being sixth in line to the throne, he is still a prince, or at least he was, and known the world over. And his family, one of the richest in the world. But, on the other hand, Harry is not the brightest or the most attractive or even the richest in his own right. So, will Meghan eventually move on from Harry? And if she does, who will she move on to? Now, being with Harry will definitely curb her political ambitions to an extent, because remember, she cannot enter into United States politics holding her United Kingdom titles. But now we have the question, who can she move on to that will give her that final step or that first step into the political arena? And of course, then that person will have to have more money than Harry. So, who could that possibly be? Well, in my opinion, there is only one way Harry can ever be sure that she married him for him and not for the title and his family's money, and that is to abdicate all his titles. If she stays with him for a year or more after that, then maybe we can imagine that she likes him or at least has an ounce of caring for him. But the question is, will she? That, my dears, is something Harry and the royal family needs to call her bluff on, and do it sooner rather than later. Okay, guys and girls, that's it from me for today. Now, please take good care of yourselves until we meet on the next one. Bye.